Hey kids, ever wonder what would happen if the director of Snatched got handed a copy of Dark Souls and a whole lot of coke? Of course you did, you're not stupid. Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron.
And I'm Michelle.
And this is our post-Geekout reaction for King Arthur. Oh, I know you were all waiting for it. There ain't crap coming out this week.
Oh boy, it's like the...
Nobody wanted to go up against Guardians this week. Yeah, this is one of those things where it's like the studio knew this was going to tank, so they're like, what's the biggest release of the year? Put it the week right after that, so that way we have an excuse when this thing bombs. Oh boy! Although I will say, there were more people in that theater than I was expecting.
Yeah,
like, I was like, no way is there gonna be more than a dozen. A dozen max. There was at least 20 people there. So, I mean, it's not like it was crowded, but it was like, what's that? Like, there were enough people there that 5 minutes into this movie, I just wanted to stand up and look around and go, what the fuck is wrong with all of you? I have to be here. This is my job. What's all of your excuses?
Maybe they're reviewers too. Maybe they're online reviewers also.
Everybody's a critic, literally. Hell man, if I can turn this into a career, anyone can. Somewhere out there is someone who thinks I'm an idiot and disagrees with everything I said, and they just got the motivation right there. It's like, yeah, I could do this.
Follow your dreams.
Yeah, I need to cut my hair, by the way. That's off topic. But for anybody who has not seen a post-Geekout reaction before, what it is, it's not a review. I will have a mini review coming up this weekend in which I give you a spoiler-free, little, quick, 5-minute long review of this film. This is just our open, honest discussion about the thing that we just watched, and that does indeed include spoilers. There's really anything to... I mean, there's set pieces to spoil in here.
Yeah, I guess.
There's like, hey, that's a cool-looking thing that would probably surprise you. There's a giant fucking snake out of nowhere.
That's basically
That's the biggest spoiler.
The spoilers in this movie are just like random things that pop out of nowhere. It's
check that thing out.
And it doesn't contribute to anything and is only there for like 5 seconds.
What the fuck was up with that giant snake? But the sorceress lady, I'm getting this out of the way right now.
The mage.
The mage. There's this mage that pops up who, dear God.
Oh, I hated her so much.
You guys know me. You know that the last thing that I like to critique in a film is the acting, because I can't act to save my life. So I'm like, yeah, it feels bad for me to throw that out there. She was awful.
Yeah,
she sounded like a speaking spell, didn't she? She's like...
No, like, the thing is, like, she had her lips pursed the whole time, so she's talked to me like this. It's like, oh, did you know with the sword and everything? Like,
oh, to me, it sounded more like, give me your hand.
No, it's like, give me your hand.
Okay,
did you see what I need to see? Like, it's
a combination of what we're both doing here.
Yeah, she had her lips pursed the whole time. It's like, I wanted to call her fish face.
And it's the one emotion throughout this whole thing. Jesus, like, she never breaks no matter what it is. She never emotes or anything in this film. But, like, at the end of this film, when King Arthur goes to, like, confront his evil uncle who took over the kingdom, like, she has a hawk that she's telepathically controlling for him. Then the hawk telepathically controls the snake, and the snake goes in there.
Like, I thought she was, like, swapping over from the hawk to the snake.
Yeah, she did. She basically chain linked her way into it.
And then, like, after the snake...
But then after that, all of a sudden, it's like, okay, now what's King Arthur gonna do?
Nothing.
All of a sudden, a giant, and I mean, like, could fight Godzilla-sized python, breaks into the castle, kills literally everyone in there except the evil uncle, and I just looked at it like, you could do that the whole time?
I was thinking that too.
What the fuck? We've been like dying and facing off against all of these people. Like, you could just have a fucking giant snake eat them.
Like, no, we
Where the shit did this come from?
And like,
I'm trying so. By the way, we're reviewing this right after like the midnight release. It is literally midnight right now as I'm looking at the clock. So I'm gonna try and not yell because I don't want to wake up my neighbors. But if I could yell, I would be screaming "What the fuck" right now because. That came up. This whole film is either, oh my god, something happened, or what the fuck is happening? Those are the two emotions you're going to have in this entire goddamn film. And I will go ahead, I will say the positive. The positive is that some of the designs look cool. There were some cool designs for the monsters, cool designs for the sets.
But like,
that's all I got,
but
man.
the thing
I got
is,
nothing after that.
But the thing is, like, the designs for the monsters themselves are only there for like 5 seconds, and that's it.
And they're straight out of Dark Souls, dude.
Yeah, pretty much.
I joked about it being like Dark Souls at the beginning. There's a moment in which King Arthur goes up to face the big baddie at the end of all of this, and like they get teleported to a different place, and when it starts zooming out, I went, this is the HUD in Dark Souls. This is where or the hub, I don't remember what it's called, HUD or hub, but you guys know what I'm saying. This is when you need to go and level up and you go and speak to that weird mystery lady. This is where you go. It's literally that place. I'm like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. Like, it's not even like a loving, like, I was inspired by this. It's like, it's straight up jacked the design of that. And I was like, hey man, if you want to get the visual effects team for this to work on a Dark Souls movie, I'm down with it, because clearly they're fans. But don't get Guy Ritchie anywhere near this thing, because holy cow. I also was not joking about the amped up on coke part of this. And I don't even like mean the drug, I mean like just caffeine. This dude is just like, he is drunken the 300th cup of coffee, and now everything just moves at super time for him.
Ironic considering you fell asleep during this movie.
I did fall asleep during this movie. I did. It was only for like 5 minutes, and the thing is, I wasn't even sleepy. It was just like, we just get to a point where they're just talking.
Yeah,
and like,
exactly.
all the scenes where they're just sitting around talking, it's so like, I don't understand any of this. I don't care about any of you. I have no connection to anything, and it's so like just dark and gray. And I'm not saying that it's like, oh, I don't like dark gray things. I mean, it's like, okay,
it's bland.
Don't care, and you have the put me to sleep lights on right now. Yeah, I fell asleep for about 5 minutes. I'm not gonna lie.
Also, the acting didn't really help much either.
This whole film, whenever they're just sitting around talking, I'm like, dear God, someone emote. And then the next scene, they would emote, and I'd be like, stop doing that. Go back to the last thing. Go back to just not doing anything. Because, like, anytime they emote, I'm like, you gotta be, what? And these are good actors, too. John Hansu. I never thought in my life I would, like, look at that dude and go, why isn't he, like, acting? John Hansu does nothing but act. He's an amazing actor. Whoo, he is flat in this. Oh, man. But that goes for, like, everybody. Everybody in here is just so boring, and you just don't care about any of them. Like, there's a moment in which one of them dies, and I swear to you, like I said, we were in a giant theater, and there were like 20 people in there, so there was more than enough space for all of us to be spread out. Somebody like husband and wife come in right as the movie was beginning. Giant open theater. They come and sit directly next to us, and I was just like, the fuck are you? This, oh, here? Alright, fine, whatever. They started tearing up when this guy died. I was like, get the fuck out. Tell me that guy's name right now. Tell me one thing about that guy other than he has a son. That was the one way that I was able to tell that dude apart from everyone else.
It's like deadbeat dad and whiny annoying kid. Who didn't do shit.
I want to say that kid wasn't the best child actor, but there was another child actor in here.
Oh yeah,
who played King Arthur when he was like 2 years old.
Yeah.
That kid. Ooh.
He just sat there like, ooh, just literally just sat there.
You put more emotion into it than him.
Yeah,
his emotion was, his mom dies right in front of him. His dad is fighting off this giant demon from him. He hands his dad the sword. The dad rips the sword out of his hand.
And cuts his hand.
And the kid. I'm not kidding you. There is zero emotion on the kid.
Honestly,
and I was like, you gotta be
no way. Like, no, there's no way any toddler would be that deadpan. Like, they would be screaming and crying.
I know, I hate, like, the idea of what, like, they have to do to child actors to get the emotions out of them. But I was like, someone, like, blow up a paper bag and smash it behind this kid just so it'll be like, oh, for a second, and then you go, that's where his mom died. Cool. Green screen out the guy who slammed the paper bag.
Well, speaking of the mom dying, like... that was when they decided to like cut to the title, and that was the moment both of us turned to each other and went, "What the fuck?"
Between this and Power Rangers, this has been the year of the worst time title cards I've seen. Because this was like, I was shaking with laughter when that title card came out, because I was like, You gotta be kidding me, because what is like he's escaping the castle, all this crazy stuff is going on, this giant demon, it looks like, I thought it was like the embodiment of death, because it reminded me of Death from Samurai Jack this season.
Yeah, but it turned out it was like the evil uncle.
With powers from Ursula from the Little Mermaid.
Like I seriously thought that.
Oh boy, that wasn't even
When I saw that octopus lady, I thought, is that the Lady of the Lake?
Oh, I didn't think that, no.
Because, like, this is supposed
Although I can see how you think that.
Okay, so, because this is apparently based off the King Arthur lore, and even though I don't know much about it, I know...
You know Lady in the Lake,
yeah, exactly. So it's like, oh, it's a woman, she comes out of the water, so I'm assuming that she's...
But she's a giant, fat octopus lady, and she's got 2 little servants around her, but the servants aren't eels, they're like hot little... octopus ladies squirming
They're basically
around.
just the embodiment of tentacle hentai.
They really kind of look like that. Which, by the way, there's an opening shot in which they're going across tapestry and it shows these naked women like with fire all around them. The fire looked like tentacles, and I was like, did no one in the office, like, not a single person? I guarantee you someone there at that office was like, you know what that kind of looks like? You know what, I'm not going to be the one person who says it. Yeah, it looks like fire to me, boss. Yeah, okay, sure.
And another thing that, like...
But, hold on, we didn't even cover the mom yet. Okay.
Oh, yes.
But anyway, yeah, the uncle gets these powers because he had to shed the blood of someone he loved into the water. And then this weird octopus lady comes up and transforms him into this giant, like, death skull creature. And, like, basically, the skull creature is out there in the distance as they're trying to get on this boat. It throws this spear. The spear, like, silently goes through because it's like a ghost spear.
Ooh.
And so the shot is this.
And you don't even...
King Arthur.
You don't...
No sound.
No sound. You don't see any water splashing.
No,
you don't
no
see,
sound effects, no nothing.
No, absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it all just goes completely silent. She falls out of frame. There's a moment of nothing but water. King Arthur. Yay!
It's almost as bad as the opening text, which was, like, terrible. Like... This font, the font was so tiny and so thin I can like barely read it.
I didn't even notice it because all the opening text stuff was over a montage of King Arthur growing up in a brothel. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck am I looking at?
No, it's
like over the course of like 2-3 minutes, it is so much just sped up quick motion and all this crazy stuff happening, like him just watching women getting beaten nonstop and him like stealing from people and all this and getting kung fu trained and then
that was so stupid. But even before that, were the montage of the giant battle with the weird elephant.
Oh god, I forgot that.
I know.
That was stupid.
I was looking at it, I was like, stop ripping off Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, when he gets to the training montage, I was like, this is a little bit Batman-y for me. Then you got Ursula from The Little Mermaid. He's like, oh my god, and all the villains are just Dark Soul creatures. I was like, oh my god, you just threw a bunch of shit in a blender and called it King Arthur.
You put everything in there except King Arthur. And speaking of which, I am so pissed off that they did not include Merlin.
Yeah, Merlin, here's the thing. This thing opens up with them going like, okay, the world of sorcery, it's been encroaching in on mankind, and man and sorcerer live together, but now the dark sorcerer Mordred is closing in. The last safe haven is Camelot, and then you see these giant elephants, and then like the dad of King Arthur has to go in there and one-on-one fight Mordred, and all this stuff is happening. They're like, yes, and the wizard Merlin, he crafted the sword from his staff. And I was like, this is a way better movie than what we have to watch here.
Can we watch that movie instead?
I feel like, where's the prequel? The prequel sounds kind of cool.
The prequel actually sounds like The Legend of King Arthur.
Yeah, this is just fucking, it's Snatched is what it is. Because like, I knew Guy Ritchie directed this, and I knew Guy Ritchie directed the Sherlock Holmes movies, and I knew that he directed some terrible Madonna films. I was like, what else did he do? I know he directed 2 big things I am completely forgetting, and then like when it finally is done with the montage and you see King Arthur now as a like grown man and he's got his 2 buddies there with him, and like the sheriff calls him in and is like, oh, all right there boys, so what's it? And by the way, forgive me for my horrible British accents, but I was like, oh my god, these are like parody accents in here. All right, except for, I cannot believe this, Charlie Hunnam is the one British guy out there who can do a good Southern American accent, And he's also the one British guy out there who, when I hear him speak with a British accent, I'm like, that's fake. It's like, man, you're just an American guy trying to pick up chicks in a bar. It's like, oh, I'm from Britain, oh, I am. We've all done it sometime, don't lie. But yeah, so like he's got Arthur and his two friends there, and then Sarah's like, "Oh boy, so what's all this I hear about the Vikings and these rebel symbols being graffitied all over the place?" And he goes, "Well, so I told my mate I was going to do this. So where do you want me to begin?" "Well, start at the beginning." "Well, so I woke up. So then I said, where's May? So May's been missing. So I hear that she's running with this fucking," and it's like, it goes back and forth. It's like, everything I'm saying, that's not one guy talking. That's Arthur and his two buddies there going back and forth and like complimenting each other. And the moment I heard that, I was like, Snatch! He did Snatch! That's the other thing he did. Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. And the more this goes on, I was like, oh my god, this is just Snatch in like medieval times if everyone dressed like they were wearing a J. Crew catalog. And they just threw in every other weird fantasy piece of shit they could think of.
Like, it would have been a somewhat decent, granted boring fantasy action movie if it weren't for that weird cutaways like that.
That's the weird thing, is that
like,
I'm talking shit on this film, but I kind of want to applaud the ideas in this, because we all knew that Arthur grew up as an orphan, but looking at this is like, what if Arthur grew up like an orphan on the wrong side of the tracks, and he had his mates there with him, and like basically he had street knowledge, and like he had those connections, kind of like to more shady figures, and I'm like, that'd actually be kind of a badass King Arthur story. Why is this not badass?
It's because they were fast forwarding all the interesting parts, like
honestly, the editing and the directing and the soundtrack are a fucking assault on the senses, and I don't say that lightly. When the credits started rolling and I just started playing the music, that's when it hit me. That's the thing that is so, because I was just getting barraged by so much stuff constantly throughout this. I was like, I can't even pinpoint the problem in here because you're barraging me with so much stuff. But when I was just listening to the soundtrack, which was like the sound of someone going with like on top of that, and I was like, this is just fucking awful loud noises slamming into me. That's what I was like, that's what all of this is. The reason I couldn't pinpoint what my problem was is because I couldn't pinpoint what my problem is, because there's so much shit just thrown at you in every frame of this.
This felt like a trailer that was the length of the entire movie.
Holy shit, yeah. It
does, like the way it cuts to everything and the way the music is bombarding you.
Yeah.
It really does feel just like a movie-length trailer.
Watch the trailer for this and think about how cool that trailer kind of looks, and then just hit the loop button on YouTube and sit there for 2 goddamn hours.
Yes.
That's what this is. Like, it doesn't let up. Like, if the movie theater, if the production company of this wanted to be just complete pieces of crap, that's the quote they would use on the box. Doesn't let up. And I was like, yeah, but no.
Not entirely.
That's not what we're talking about here.
It doesn't entirely. It does let up sometimes, but when it does, it's just so boring talk. That's all it is.
That's the thing. You don't care about anybody in this film. And the thing is, I love this idea that he also, like, he's formed these connections with these different groups of people, and they're the people that end up becoming
the Knights of the Round Table.
Like, God, that sounds like such a cool idea.
It does.
Like, he has a kung fu master who trains him, and that dude ends up becoming a knight. Like, that could have been a kung fu master in King Arthur's court? How is this a bad movie? But it is. God, I want to yell so loud, but I'm trying to keep myself down.
Another thing that pissed me off was, like, when they were building the round table, it's like, oh, what's this?
Wow, yeah, they hammered
that. It's like, wow, you guys are really dumb. It's like,
how dumb do you think your audience is?
Is it a wheel of cheese? Is it a dance floor? It's like, wow.
And I get that they were trying to, like, joke with him about it, because it's like, oh, we know what it is, but we want to build up for it for the audience at home so they can get the big reveal. It's like, literally all of us knew what it was the second we saw this thing. Oh.
And then it's like, it was half covered in cloth anyway, and he just like pulled the rest of it off.
Like it was supposed to be a big reveal?
Like, oh, it's a table, and then it just cuts away.
Shit! What else could it possibly have been?
Like, I was waiting for one of the knights to say, I knew that, as like a half-ass joke, which there are quite a few in this movie, but they didn't even do that.
I can't even criticize the dialogue in here because so often I was like, I don't know what the hell anyone is saying in this. And it's like, forgive me guys, but it's like, remember Snatched? How you had, not Ben Affleck, God, who was the guy in that? Brad Pitt. How you had Brad Pitt and the running gag was like he had such a thick accent nobody could understand him. That's kind of what everybody in this has. Like, I was like, dude, I need a translator. I seriously, like, everybody is talking so fast and talking on top of each other and with such thick slurs and everything they say. I was like, I seriously cannot follow some of this stuff. Like, I knew what was happening in each scene, but it would jump from one thing to the next so quickly.
Exactly.
I was like, hold on, wait, stop, wait. Okay, like, I would have to remind myself halfway through a scene, okay, I know what's going on here. I know what's going on here. I can follow this. Because, like, this thing just moves. Like, it feels like they thought they only had 80 minutes in this movie, but no, they had over 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know, over 2 hours, I repeat. But yeah, as I said, a lot of the visual stuff is cool. Not necessarily like effects-wise, but just design-wise. That's all I got.
Yeah, pretty much.
I really like, but I mean, then again, like, there will be like those brief moments where like, this is kind of cool. It's kind of like when I watch a Transformers film. I can't totally give Transformers films like the lowest absolute F, because every now and again there'll be like a moment of action in which I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. And then I'll hate myself for thinking that. But then I'm like, oh, god damn it, you got me for 5 seconds there.
It's funny how you mentioned the Transformers, because like every time I see a trailer for Transformers, the last night?
It's gonna be the last shit.
It reminded me of like the King Arthur trailer, so I'm like, which one is which?
Yes, you could do an amazing mashup video of these two things.
Exactly, because, oh my god, it's like...
Yeah. Also, who the fuck was asking for Transformers in Camelot? Like, that just seems like, where did that even come from? But anyway, that's
I kind of want to see that movie just to like compare it to this one.
We have to. It's our job now.
It's like, which one is a worse bastardization of the King Arthur lore, really? I mean, just like...
I swear to God, if the better King Arthur film has giant talking robots and Mark Wahlberg in it, that's saying something.
No, I think the better King Arthur film would be the one with the two-headed dragon.
I don't know what you're referring to.
Quest for Camelot.
Oh, okay. I was actually going to open this video up with the joke of, wow, these live-action Disney adaptations are getting weird, but I don't think anybody would know what I was talking about. So, honestly, it's one of those things where there isn't even anything else for me to critique about this, because even in a 2-hour-long film, it's just like watching a garbage disposal with forks and knives shoved in there go off. It's just a bunch of sparkly shit flying in front of you. Like, but there's so many moments in there which I'm like, this should be cool.
But it's not.
Like the final fight scene, there are so many cool camera moves in there. There's so many moves in which he's going up against this giant demon thing, and there's so many camera movements, zooming in on the swords and stuff. I'm like, that was a really cool movement. That was a really cool movement. That was a really cool direction. But when you have that followed immediately by another one and another one and another one and another one and another one, 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 and that's just like 20 seconds in here, I'm like, dude, your cool stuff has been negated by the fact that I've just been blinded and having a seizure.
Yeah, exactly. There should be a seizure warning in front of this film.
It really, like, there's just so much shit happening. It's just so crazy. And there's so many plot things in here. Like, I don't want to say plot holes, but just things that get brought up and never really come back. It's like, why the fuck? Like, why the fuck is the uncle even doing this? Like, why did the uncle want to take any of this over?
Because evil and wants power.
Like, I would almost be willing to let it go if it was just he's evil and that's it. But, like, he has to spill the blood of loved ones to gain this power, and when he does, like, you seem like, no. And it's like, okay, if he's willing to pay this price, he clearly must have a motivation behind it. What the fuck is that motivation? Like, if you were just evil, he would just stab him and go, no, give me my power. It's like, he is clearly, like, tormented by having to kill them, and they thought that would give him depth, but it just makes me ask, okay, well then why the fuck are you doing it? It's like, okay, you beat off you beat back the evil sorcerer guy, and it's like, you live happily in your castle. Sure, you're not the king, but you're the king's brother. That's still pretty damn good. And you have a wife you love, you have a daughter you love. It's like, what do you need more of? It's like, well, I must have power. It's like, but you destroy the thing you love for this power, so...
It's like, even Scar from The Lion King, he didn't have, like, a wife or anything.
Scar was, yeah, exactly. It's like, Scar was just evil. It's like, that's fine. I'm okay with a just evil villain, but just live up to that. This is the guy whose motivation is, I'm just evil, but you see that it torments him to be evil, and it's like, okay, well then stop fucking being evil. No one's telling you to be, like, the only guy who had the gun to your head and said be evil, your brother just killed a moment ago. So it's like, alright, you literally have nothing. It's like, did Ursula have something on you? Because it seemed like she didn't want any of your shit unless you made the sacrifice, so just don't make the fucking sacrifice. Like, why are you doing any of this?
It's like,
I'll give it one other compliment. I actually thought the plan of how to, like, get the sword out of Jude Law's hands was kind of clever. Basically, that snake that she brought into the castle, the tiny regular-sized one, it jumped at him when he was about to kill Arthur, and then he sliced at the snake and cut its head off. And I was like, well, that was anticlimactic and didn't do anything. But when he sliced at, it then chopped into, like, one of the pillars, and so once again the sword was stuck in stone, so he couldn't remove it. And I was like, okay, that's actually kind of smart. Alright, I'll get, like, I reluctantly give you that one movie.
Although it's kind of weird, it's a sword in the stone, and yet the stone is the father.
Fuck that. I totally forgot that.
No.
Like, the sad thing is, here's the thing. When he was fighting his brother in his big demon form, he's like, that sword is mine now. He's like, well then, something, I don't even care. Who gives a crap? He then throws the sword up, does a flip in the air, and he kneels down, and the sword, and like, as it was coming down, I was like, wait, don't, because like, that was the question I had all throughout this, is that, how the fuck did it get in the light to begin with? How did it get in that stone to begin with? And then when I saw it twirling him up, and I was like, don't you do this. Not like this. Not like this. And then sword comes down, shoves itself like right down his spinal column, and then he slowly just turns to stone, and it's like, I know in a fucking movie about magic I should not be questioning things, but how the fuck did you know that is what would happen if you stabbed yourself with your own sword? How did the Lady of the Lake send you a telepathic message right before this? Do you and the sword share an unspeakable bond? It's like,
I don't know.
How the fuck did you know that would happen?
The Lady in the Lake did sort of telepathically give Arthur back his sword when he ran away in a temper tantrum, but...
Yeah.
Which was a completely unnecessary scene.
That's the thing. You want to have the all is lost moment, and I can't bear this, I'm throwing the sword away. Don't immediately resolve it in 90 seconds. Because, like, before he even gets, like, done running away, Lady of the Lake pops up and goes, this is what will happen if you fail. And then he sees post-apocalyptic Camelot.
Yes, with evil elephants.
Who the fuck even decided to put elephants in this thing?
Like I said, Lord of the Rings ripoff.
Dude, yeah, that's literally all I can think. Because, like, I was trying to think back to it. I was like, I know that some people back then used elephants for war, and
it's like, if they have
use them in Asia.
I don't know, if they can have a giant snake randomly pop up, I suppose they can have giant elephants randomly pop up too, whatever.
But the elephants even came out of the mountain. It's like, not even going like a mountain troll or something? This is one of those films in which it's like, dude, just don't stop and question anything. Because if you question anything, you will question everything. Because like I said, in a much better movie, the dad, like, stabbing himself and turning into a stone could have been a cool thing. Mm-hmm. This is not a much better movie. This is a movie where you will stop and question everything, so you better fucking believe you're gonna question that one. I have cursed more in this review than I have cursed in a long time. I remember there was a time in which I was trying to pull back, but I'm just like, I'm not even mad. I'm just
disappointed?
No, just flabbergasted. Because, like, when I'm mad, I can put that into words. And this one's like, what did I, like, I seriously was like, what am I watching all throughout this? All throughout this, I was like, something happened. Something would happen. What the fuck just happened? Man, it really is like just watching the Tasmanian tiger try and direct a film. Just
Tasmanian devil.
Whatever. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Although that is basically the power that he gets when he finally activates the sword for the first time. Just a big brown whirlwind storms around him and it takes everybody out. It's like, okay. Like I said, there's so many fucking things in here that should be cool. Like the big fight when he really embraces the sword and he's taking out all those soldiers one after one. I was like, if you just calm the fuck down by 10%, this would look cool. But you're going so quick and moving so randomly all over the place, zipping from one thing to the next. I'm like, I can't connect with anything in this.
I can't. You can't connect with the action. You can't connect with the characters.
It's like
you can't.
But like I see, like if you take like one shot of like any of the big action scenes, you're like, that's an awesome ass shot. But when you slam them all together so quickly, it's like I don't know what's happening. Where are we right now? I'm dizzy. Yeah, this is just stunning. Just mind-boggling. And you know what the sad thing is? I didn't even hate this enough that I think it's going to be on my 10 worst of the year list.
No, that's the thing. It's like...
We've seen so much worse.
No, that was kind of the thing. It's like I was disappointed because like it wasn't stupid funny, but it wasn't stupid rage-worthy either.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was just bad.
Yeah, it's like literally the whole time I was watching the movie, I was just like...
I kept staring over at you. It was like, I don't know if you're asleep, and if you are, I'm not going to wake you.
It's like, I was trying not to sleep.
I could tell.
Because I wanted to see just how stupid and fucked up this movie is, just so I can give a decent review of it.
You wanted to nitpick as much as you possibly could.
Did.
Yeah, it's like, just to let everybody out there know, because I said that I fell asleep during this. I fell asleep right after we met the mage, and when I woke up, he was fighting giant bat creatures.
Yeah, like here's...
And you told me, oh, that was like 5 minutes later. I was like, how the fuck did we get from there to here?
Like basically...
In 5 minutes.
Basically the mage told him that in order to like reveal his past through the sword, he has to like go through the dark world.
That was literally the last thing I remember her saying before on.
And literally they just teleported him into the dark world, which is where all the giant bats and ROUSs and snakes and everything were like... attacking him, and he was falling, and it's like, you know...
Idris Elba's there as a gunman, yeah. Wait, that was the trailers.
That's just sad when, like, the trailers actually are just as equally entertaining, quote-unquote, as the movie itself.
No, because that's like saying, like, a jelly bean is as fulfilling as 5 pounds of jelly beans. Is like, yeah, man, I will gladly eat the crap out of some jelly beans. I will binge a whole bunch of jelly beans until I get sick. I got sick of this film after 5 minutes, and I was like, oh, no, there's more jelly beans coming at me.
No,
oh, God,
but, like,
no. They're all licorice.
That's the perfect thing, though. It's like, after seeing all these trailers, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for the movie. Now when I see the movie, it's like, oh, no, it's just one giant trailer.
I'm ready for the credits.
And then the credits, the music blasts at you, and you're like, oh no, it's still going.
Yeah. Like I said, that was the moment that I realized what the problem with this is. It's that all the music, all the visuals, all the weird shit, it's just slamming you and punching you in the face non-stop. Except for when it does stop, and then it's like, just start back up again. No, don't, I take it back. God, and it's like I said, I can't believe this would not have made my 10 worst of the year last year. It would not have made my 10 worst of the year before. It's probably not going to make it this year either. Oh, but yeah. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought of this film. Although, let's be honest, I don't think any of you are going to see this weekend. But I don't know. Let us know in the comments down below. Who's your favorite boss in Dark Souls? Because for me, it's Jude Law Demon Man.
Who's your favorite character in Sonic and the Black Knight? Which is probably a more accurate representation of the King Arthur lore.
I really am flashing back to just like him sitting around with all of his buddies just doing the like talking over each other and stuff. And I'm like, motherfucker, this is set in 1970s Europe. Look at that coat he's wearing. This is straight out of like 1970s fashion, and you're calling it Milton turn of the century. Like you're calling it like 1600. When did King Arthur take place?
I don't know exactly.
Like 1300, probably 1200, I think. I don't know. I'm going back in time before this movie was conceived. Marty, we gotta go back. It's the reboot of your film. Oh my god. You better believe I'm saving the receipt from this movie because this is a tax write-off right now from seeing this. This is a work expense. Alright. Thank you guys very much. You can follow me on Twitter and Tumblr at Professor Thorgy. If you want to see that 5-minute long review, it's coming up. I'll probably have some other things this weekend. I don't know. I'm
what
tired.
else is coming out that's actually worth watching?
The Aliens film. Yeah, that's it. Right. What's next weekend? Aliens. Aliens, whatever the fuck it is next week. So, I hear it's not bad.
Can't be any worse than this.
Then again, I thought Prometheus was alright. I don't think Prometheus was as terrible as everyone said. I don't think it was great.
No, but like, it's like, it was good. It was okay, not...
It's a big bag of plot holes, but I mean, it's...
It's at least entertaining.
It was entertaining enough. Yeah. So I was like, alright, fine, whatever. I don't give a shit. Bye, everyone.
Bye.